probably wondering what that music is. That is the music of one of my guests today. Thought it'd be funny to let it intro as kind of, the theme of the episode, like I always like to do themes. This is a very special episode. Yes, if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, it'll still be on SoundCloud, but I'm decided to make a debut for YouTube. Want to expand the audiences to bigger audience. Now, I appreciate the audience I have now, but I also would like to get a more international audience. But I might stick with SoundCloud because at least with SoundCloud, they'll probably not probably, they won't cut out a lot of stuff I'll be talking about. YouTube might, unless I give a warning so no kids be listening to everything I'm fucking talking about. But besides being a special day, I also have a couple special interviews. Yeah, I know it's a YouTube themed show and I should have a ton of YouTube content. Unfortunately, a few never got back to me. A couple did, but they needed, do episodes later. One a little farther later in the year, another later on, and, we'll have an episode with him as a special guest. I mentioned him before so many times, Joey B/3, and his Fit Gamer YouTube page. Yeah, he'll be on here somewhere down the road, but in the meantime, check out his page, Fit Gamer by Joey B/3. Either one, search them up, you'll get them both. That's fun stuff. There's a lot of video game playing, choreography episodes, where he shows you movie fights and he shows you how to do each move. He'll probably explain how in a real situation it would work. Also has gives you some exercise videos too. I don't know if he gives lessons. You might have to message him on either YouTube or Instagram. It goes under the same name on Instagram as well. But our special guest today will be one very funny guy whose theme music I use the opening, which would be Larson Halleck. You love his page. Does a lot of where he focuses on bullshit martial arts, calls it Kung Fail. He also focuses on the idiot pickup artists in the world, calls it pickup assholes. Just the comment he talks about and certain things are funny as hell. We'll talk about it when we get to the episode. And the other special guest we have today is a man by the name of Viking Samurai. You probably see his page, same deal. Does stuff like martial arts movies, a lot of stuff with Stallone movies. One of the neutral internet reviewers on Steven Seagal, which got my attention. I don't mind somebody ripping Seagal for something for all the real life shit he gets into today, but he focuses on the movies, he focuses on the classics. He's one of those guys who's a big fan of the 80s, 90s action martial arts films like I am. Larson's doing some special stuff with Seagal. He kind of focuses on the madness of real life Seagal, but he's reading Steven Seagal's book, and right now he has chapters 13 through 18 up on YouTube right now, but they're funny as hell, and it actually makes the book very entertaining to listen to. But before we get to that, it's time to, I always like to focus on a real life situation, and I got asked, and I've seen it all. Well, this goes into what happened at Atlanta, these past shootings that happened these past few weeks. I don't really know much about the South Carolina shooting. I was an NFL player, and since it was a doctor and his family, I'm gonna probably attribute that shooting to CTE. If you think CTE's bullshit, look at the records of people who had it and see if that's bullshit. And I'll give you some hints. Aaron Hernandez, Chris Benoit. Yeah, and some good examples right there. CTE is the real fucking thing. Going with the idiot in Colorado. This guy has mental fucking issues, and he's already been linked to talking on terror networks. It's on his record, but he bought a gun, no problem. And when I mentioned they should do some background checks, oh, why? It's wrong. It's against their right. No. To say somebody can't own a gun, yes, that is against their rights. But saying we need to look into your background and make sure you're not a fucking loon, that's not against your fucking rights. It's like this bullshit today with I can't wear my mask against my rights. No, it's gonna keep people safe, you fucking idiot. And we want to go to the big, bearded, Amish-looking dumb fucking Atlanta who killed a bunch of Asian Americans. Of course, you have all you fucking idiots out there with the Asians that are responsible for COVID, and these same idiots are probably the ones that are, I can't wear my mask. I'm not getting a vaccine. This is against my freedom. You're the assholes that keeps this fucking disease going, along with the other dumb fuck politicians. I'm glad some businesses are saying, this governor I serve is not a doctor or does not work in a lab, so when the lab person or the doctor says it's okay not to wear a mask, I'll listen then. At least those businesses are smart, so thank you for that. AMC especially. Thank you for not having your head up your ass like all these other people. And I seen them out yesterday, a lot of these people not wearing your mask, and you have the fucking gall to say shit to me. I mean, I would say balls, but I think it's offensive now, because now even guys with balls will suddenly say they're women. I'm not saying it's ripping on trans, but I ran to a few guys, I say you have the balls to say something to me, and right away it's like, how dare you assume I have balls? And it's like, what? Okay. So I'm gonna say they have the gall to say, take your mask off, and then they try to reach for the mask at my face, but I wasn't in the mood to break their hand that day. Next time I might be. But yeah, the asshole in Atlanta is one of these dumb fucking idiots, like the asshole in New York who attacked a fucking grandmother, and the assholes who just stood by and watched it went, it's fucking stupid. Not every Asian American created COVID. COVID. So yeah, somebody in a lab made it somewhere, it got out, and the reason it spread, because we have idiots out here. That's how it spread, you fucking moron. Yeah, I love that he says, I had a bad day, and I targeted what gives me a bad day, which is sex workers. And then he had the Billy Bob sheriff. Yeah, it was actually a bad day. And you had the idiot governor of Georgia who, yeah, it's a bad day, nothing we can do. I have bad days too. And what's my homicide rate? 0. See? That's where your excuse is stupid. Yeah, I had kind of a crap morning and an afternoon. So it's really helping my rant. So yeah, I might rant a little more later. Or, you know, this might make this rant segment, but well, I'm definitely going to rant when it comes to the comments because I read a few stupid ones again. And if your comment is so fucking stupid, I'm just going to tell you I'm not reading it because I don't feel like losing my fucking intelligence. I don't think it's right for the listeners to lose their intelligence hearing your stupid comment. But getting back to these fucking idiots, you know, that's the other thing. It's like, what, AR-15 is on sale for all dumbasses out here? I mean, what the fuck? But no, it's not oh, I was having a bad day, you're a racist asshole. If you were shooting everybody in sight, maybe I'll give it for a bad day. But you targeted certain people and you drove to certain areas. Do us a favor. Instead of saying next time I'm having a bad day, next time put the barrel in your fucking mouth, asshole. Yeah, I know you can say it's wrong for me to say, but I don't care. And this is from Brian Lass. Back to YouTube. Who knows? YouTube might have this on here. I don't know. Yeah, I had to get that out because it just pisses me off reading this crap and hearing these morons support this or say this is not or make excuses. Just shut the hell up. That's what I'll tell you on this. You can write in comments, oh, I hate you saying this. Well, I don't give a fuck. Just write your comments and I'll tell you I don't care or not even respond to you because you're not worth my time. If you believe in what I'm saying, cool. And comment and I'll tell you how cool you are. Like some people in the comments are pretty cool. And that's where we're going next, to the comments. Alright, the first one is, oh my fucking goodness. Don't doubt the lasers. They've been known to start these forest fires. Ask Australia, there was a rays. These Jewish made have rays that turn people into pedophiles. Oh my god. What? God damn it. Sorry. You deserve this. I'm a very positive person, even in times of negativity. I did lose a relative to COVID, but rather than be angry, somebody healed from COVID, I'm happy. So I'm happy to hear about your family and your guest Amber recovering from COVID. Thank you very much. Well, you only wrote your name is Timothy, so Timothy, thank you very much. And I hope you listen to this on YouTube or SoundCloud and your name got on here. And I'm sorry to hear about your relative. And everyone who's smart in this world who's trying to stop this is sorry too. I don't think you'll get sorry from these assholes who kept this shit going or say this is a hoax, all that stuff. Yeah, I think I have those family and friends. They'll have evidence it's not a hoax. But I'm very sorry to hear about your relative and I hope you get by with this. And you know what? We're gonna get things better. Hopefully, you know what? I hope they make vaccine and mask a law and just throw those other people off at an island somewhere and let them COVID themselves out. Fuck them. Fuck them. I hear you always talk about what to do right in films, so I'm curious if you saw this movie, Music by Sia. Oh boy. I seen it. That's where the oh boy comes from. I mean, I heard about it coming on. I thought, I like her music. I prefer listening to music. Her videos are weird. And I grow concerned for the little girl in there because a lot of that stuff is not stuff for a little girl to be doing. But yeah, I was like, what in the fuck is this? I mean, when I started seeing the music video segments, I'm like, okay, it's a musical. And I thought maybe it's like it's imagination. You know, hey, it's kind of like Pennies from Heaven where suddenly musical sequences break out. And they talk about a girl and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's about an autistic girl. And then I'm like, well, I'm not autistic, but isn't bright flickering lights like a bad stimuli for people who are autistic? I'm pretty sure it is. Other stuff on it just seems like this isn't stuff an autistic person would be okay with. And I don't know if they see stuff this way. I mean, I'm not autistic, I don't know. But from what I've been hearing from other autistic people, they're basically saying, what the fuck and fuck this movie. If it was, like I said, it was about a little girl's imagination. Well, I mean, the girl's not little, she's 18, but a girl's imagination, she imagines musical sequences for stuff. Great. But you had to make it, oh, it's about an autistic girl. Well, that's where you're kind of wrong. And you go with Autism Speaks. That's like the PETA of autism. They're like PETA. They only care about the money. They don't care about the fucking animals. They just care that, hey, we call ourselves PETA, so you know we care about animals, but you really fucking don't. Autism Speaks is about, oh, autism is disease. Get rid of it. It's not a disease. It's something somebody's born with. It's a mental, I don't want to say abnormality. I mean, okay, you want to say abnormality? I might be wrong in saying that, but that's what it is. It's not a disease. You know, and I do agree with somebody who says everyone's special in their own way. And then I love her dumb fucking comment with that dumb Variety interviewer. And if you're listening to a dumb Variety interviewer, you're a fucking idiot. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. You're a fucking idiot. Oh, special need means special powers. Oh, well, I'm sure those autistic people would love to know what their special powers are. I mean, wow. You just got yourself, you're just basically turn everything of yourself into a big clusterfuck. But okay. And yeah, the whole thing with her and the little girl, Maddie Ziegler, yeah, that whole relationship just sounds kind of odd to me. I'm sorry if that's my kid. I would not want my kid in those situations situations like that. Like those music videos or this movie. If my little girl tells me they want me to play this part of somebody who has a, I don't want to say a disability or an abnormality, I'll call it, but I feel I'm going to be making fun of them, I'll be like, hey, if you're not uncomfortable doing this, just say so, and I'll tell your friend there straight. She's not comfortable doing this, so figure something the hell out. Not, oh, it's a movie, go with what she wants. That mother's a fucking idiot too. Dance moms. I want to slap every one of you. I don't advocate violence against women, but all you need to get slapped in the fucking face, because you're all stupid. Like your pageant moms too. I see those videos. Girls crying about how getting spray tan. You see what a baby she is? No, spray tanning is bad, you fucking moron. I'll show you a baby. I'll cry when I punch you right in the fucking forehead. God, stuff like that pisses me off. I don't have kids. I'll admit right now, there's days I want them and there's days I don't. But if I did, unless my kid really wants to do this, fine. If they're ever uncomfortable with something, I'm gonna tell them, get out of it. Not enable this shit, you morons. As far as the movie goes, I have no fucking idea. Maybe if I get an autistic person to comment on this, help me here. I can't speak for somebody who's autistic. I don't know anybody who's autistic. I don't know how it works. So I can't really say a bunch of things, but I will say the movie looks totally wrong. Especially the restraining part. Crush them with love. No. And the autism speaks, but here's videos of parents filming their kids having a freak out. Well, parents, I hope I kick you in your fucking ass, you morons. There's a video for you. Fucking film your kids having a freak out. What the hell's wrong with you? And autism speaks, you can go fuck yourself too. Stupid idiots. And PETA, you can go fuck yourself as well. Everything River Phoenix stood for, you bastardize it, so stick the dollar bills up your ass, fuckers. Sorry, shit like that pisses me off. No, I don't agree with the crush them with love restraining part. That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not autistic, but I know that's fucking wrong. But yeah, somebody who's autistic hears this, please let me know if I'm saying anything wrong in the comments, and if I am, I apologize, or let me know if I'm on the right track here with how I feel this movie's ridiculous. Like I said, if it was about a little girl who has an imagination, fine, but this, no. And yes, I don't think it's right that people are going after the little girl actress with hate mail and stuff, saying, how do you do this? You could kind of see from everything they've been saying, she was forced into this movie. So why are you going after somebody who's forced into this? That's wrong. So keep your cancel culture guns in your damn holsters and shoot yourself in the foot. One of many reasons why cancel culture tends to piss me off a lot. Shit like this. And we have a cancel culture question. What is your problem with cancel culture? Certain people really do need to be canceled. Johnny Depp, etc. Sorry, but true. Well, glad you apologize, because it's not true. His wife came out and said, oh, I did beat him. He needed to be a man and everything. And everyone's like, okay. No. So he did not deserve to be canceled. I think she deserved to be canceled. If you would have canceled her, then fine. A lot of people who did say cancel Johnny Depp are now saying, oh, we're so sorry, Johnny, bring him back. No, you lost that right to say that. I was on his side from the beginning. You should have questioned that there's these abuse claims by her. And if you look at their backgrounds, he has not one iota of a physical attack against any relationship he was in. Never laid a hand on his kids or any girlfriend or fiance in the past. But her, she has so many. You should have questioned that. Not because one idiot says, I stand with her and we cancel Johnny Depp, and you all did it. Morons like that, this is why I don't like cancel culture. Kevin Spacey, yes. Bill Cosby, yes. Harvey Weinstein, for fuck sure. Even if he wasn't a rapist, fat piece of shit. Cancel him every movie he's ruined. And everybody says, well, he's done good for movies too. When? And if you try to say Tarantino movies, no, it was Sally Mankey, his editor, who made his movies great. Cancel culture, that's how I feel about it. Do I want to do an episode about it? No, I do an episode about it every time I have to read these dumb questions about cancel culture. I'm not calling you dumb, I'm saying it's ridiculous to say cancel culture is great. A couple times it could be, but a lot of times it's ridiculous. Instead of just cancel culture, no, how about let things like when it comes to abuse or other stuff, let an actual court do its job instead of just we're using social media to make sure this guy's canceled. Because what if the person's innocent? What are you gonna do then? Just sit there with your thumb in your ass? God. Stop talking great stuff about Shia LaBeouf's movie. Why don't you talk about the great stuff his girlfriend's done? I've heard a few of her songs. Sorry, not good stuff. I'm sorry she went through abuse. I'm very sorry. I don't think anybody should go through abuse like that. But if I don't think a project she done is good, I have the right to say it's not good. Yeah, I'm glad she's speaking out for herself. That's wonderful. But I'm not going to stop and not see a Shia LaBeouf movie because of that. I'll say something's great. I'll talk about, the great stuff that, he did with Peanut Butter Falcon or his movie about his life. I'll speak about that. And secondly, I'm thinking he should tell his story as well. Maybe it might be bullshit, but he should at least get his words out as well as hers. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. If it was that he was an abusive prick, then I am very sorry she had to deal with it, and I hope he gets his help for being that much of an abusive prick. But you know what? I'm not going to say I'm not watching a movie because you guys tell me to. No. I'll choose a movie not to watch a movie if I don't want to. Yes, I'll still watch LA Confidential and Usual Suspects, even though at times I'd be like watching it like, ugh, because of who's in it, but it doesn't matter. I'll still watch it because it's my choice. And I'll still watch a Shia LaBeouf movie because I want to. But all I'm going to say is he should get his story out, or better yet, they should go to the courts with this first. Let him get his story out, let her get her story out, there you go. Not just she says a story and cancel culture goes to work. That's what I'm getting sick and tired of. So don't talk about these great films. I'll talk about it if I want to. But when it comes back to her, sorry, I heard some of her music, not the best in the world. Sorry. And I'm not saying she's the one that has shit music. There's a lot of shit musicians out there. Are you doing any episodes about comic book characters? I have a plan something like that in the future. I mean, well, we still got the Batman and Superman episode. That's happening down the road, likely beginning of May. I know I announced back in like February we're gonna get Batman, Superman, but you know, life happens. So it's about getting time. Do you fan cast? No, I do not fan cast, because every time I fan cast, another studio takes them, they go to another project, or they're uncastable. Like, I'll bring it up with Josh whenever I talk to him on the show. I fan cast a Green Lantern movie. I had Hal Jordan as Army Hammer, so like, you see, that's not gonna work, you know, unless he's acquitted in court. But you know, it's like I said, social media, court already spoken. I mean, I did say for Kyle Rayner, I did say like Dylan O'Brien, he threw in Rami Malek. They're still castable, but now I'm starting to see Dylan O'Brien as Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. But I'm hoping this story Rachel Bilson's talking about, some yearbook picture of Rami Malek, they're not going to use it to turn against him, because if that's the case, that's stupid. What was the other? I said Joel McHale is Guy Gardner. Well, he's on Stargirl, but he still could play Guy Gardner. I mean, he'd be a perfect fit. I mean, Mark Strong played 2 different roles in DC, and I did say Marshall Ali as John Stewart, he's Blade. Josh did say Sterling K. Brown, even though he played Killmonger's dad, but you know what? Zachary Levi was Fandral and Thor, and then he was Shazam. So people jump studios all the time. Marvel will take it, they go to another DC project, or they're uncastable, hence Army Hammer. And I'm not going to get into that. Let the courts handle that shit. The real courts, let social media take a break until real courts handle it. That's all I'm going to say. Not supporting anybody, I'm not against anybody. I don't know jack shit. It sounds weird. I just let the courts handle it. That's all I'm going to say. Love the gangster film episode. Yeah, it was great here. I love Michael France's page. Yeah, Michael Francis on YouTube. Farnzese. Well, Michael, you know how to spell Michael. Come on, guys. You know, Mob Movie Mondays, Mob Story Weeks. He's had these interviews on there. Talked to Lilo Brancato from Bronx Tale. That's awesome. He also talked to Ray Boom Boom Mancini, great boxer. But yeah, check out his page. And when I get this up on YouTube, I'm actually going to put my interview episode with him on YouTube as well. I'll link it to him, and he could probably link it on his page, or I'll link it on my page too. And any more interviews lined up? Yeah, I do have a great interview for the stunts choreography episode. A man by the name of Steven Lambert, and he was in stunts for pretty much about 40 years. A lot of the movies I talk about on the show, he was part of. Like those ninja movies from Canon, he was in there. He did stunts for that. And he did stunt stuff for Van Damme movies, stuff on Seagal films, stuff with Norris. So I think this is the guy to talk to. I did send messages to guys from 8711. We'll see what happens. But hey, if it's just Steven Lambert, the guy's a legend. So why not? That's the only interview. That'd be the best interview. Why are you doing a Tarantino interview? Yuck. Well, don't listen to it. And I'm not answering your question. And, yeah, it's all enjoy the show. And, yeah, a lot of you enjoy the show. Yeah, and I'm glad to do it. I'm glad you enjoy it. That's what we get for comments today. Great comments. And I loved ranting on certain comments. Yeah, I'm sorry I come out wrong at certain people, but you know what? Don't say stupid shit like this. Yes, I understand people did wrong, and it is wrong, but don't tell me, don't be talking about the movie. It's my show. I'll talk about what the fuck I want. You run your own show, you can talk about whatever you want. And I can comment, and you can tell me to screw off like I'll tell you to screw off. So, oh wait, there's one I missed. How was your comment about women in movie not misogynistic? Please clarify. All I was saying is, and if you see Viking Samurai, he talks about it on his episode too, is they should stop remaking classic stuff and make it women-based. Women should make their own stuff. Make original content. They could do it. You say there needs to be a female James Bond. There was Atomic Blonde. That's female James Bond enough. She's a British agent. She kills and kicks everyone's ass, sleeps with contacts. How is that not? How is Charlize Theron not James Bond in that movie? Come on. But yeah, like I said before, I know some females who hated Ghostbusters because they thought, like, I don't need the feminism drummed down my throat. You know, why did the new savior of Terminator have to be a woman? And, just because. Well, just because why? It just, it should be whoever takes up the damn mantle. It should be, hey, she should happen to take up the mantle against these people? Fine. But it's just I just made her a woman just because. It's the era. No. And I didn't say I hate women creators. I love women creators. Veronica Roth's one of my favorite authors. I'm friends with many women who are great creators. I mentioned before, Amber is definitely one. My friend Angel Angel is, and she'll be on an episode coming up. I'll talk about it in a second. My friend Rhonda is one. I love Catherine Bigelow. I was so happy when she won Best Picture and Best Director. I mean, yes, anything to be James Cameron again, but I thought Hurt Locker was a great film. I love her work. Chloe Zhao, I'm so happy. I'm excited for Eternals. But I think all the stuff she did, like Nomadland, is great. I love Birds of Prey. Yeah, I always love it where you see the heroes killing a bunch of people, but it's more special because it's Harley Quinn. So do an original thing. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't saying F women and their creativity or their culture. No. I actually hate the damsels in distress. They're fucking annoying. Like a woman actually kick some ass that actually, can take care of themselves in a fight and stuff like that. If it comes like it's really they can't do it alone, if like a last minute ditch they can't do it by themselves, fine. But this whole, oh, scream, help me while I'm getting choked to death. Well, it's like, I see that in Spider-Man. Help me. Do you see I'm fucking busy at the moment? Like, come on. But no, just do original stuff. I know there's a lot of women creators who could create something original and tell Hollywood get their head out of their ass and make something original. I'll do something I wrote for once, for fuck's sake. God. But no, I wasn't being misogynistic. I'm sorry. I even said I'm sorry if it comes out sounding that way, but no, I wasn't trying to be misogynistic. And I mentioned my friend Angel before. Great writer, and, read some of her work. The visuals she comes up with is wow. Yeah, I was in screenwriting classes with her. She should be a, multi-talented screenwriter already. The fact that she's not is a fucking crime. But her, and I'm trying to get her twin sister, they do a twin cast on YouTube. And then her husband, who's I think he's a cinematographer, I believe, or director. But they're all going to be talking in an episode where I'm talking about whitewashing of Asian roles in films. And I'm going to bring up the ridiculous yellow face and brown face as well. And Amber will talk about it because she mentioned briefly, we'll talk about anime adaptations, American adaptations of, anime movies. This time she'll be able to say more and let more loose. I have another Asian friend of mine, his name is Martin Wong. He'll be talking about stuff on there as well. So yeah, I know it's a deep subject, but it's a subject we need to talk about. And yes, I will admit what happened in Atlanta kind of made me bring it, and what's been going on lately with the anti-Asian American hate kind of brought on the idea, but I've been thinking about it for a while because it's fucking stupid. The whole, whitewashing of Asian roles in films or the yellow face, that's so stupid. So I want to talk about it. And I mean, if I didn't have interviews, I would have talked about it, but the interviews is going to make it more special, like they always do. Well, that's it for the comments. Now it's time we go over to the interviews. Like I said, this is a YouTube debut. Go to some YouTube comment interviews. And here's my first interview with the great and always funny Larson Halleck.
Greetings and salutations. It's your boy, Larson Halleck, and it's time.
Oh, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you, Jeremy?
I'm good. It's hey, glad to have you on here.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Well, like I said, the purpose of our episode would be to want to talk to people about who have popular YouTube content and wanted to know what got you into doing your own YouTube page.
Well, I don't know if I would be considered popular per se. I mean, I don't even have 5,000 yet. I'm kind of right on the cusp of that.
Oh, well, it's on my subscription list. So
All right, cool. Yeah. Well, as long as you consider me popular, that's cool.
A lot of people, the reason I listen to a lot of your stuff, because I like the guys that kind of tell it like it is on YouTube.
All right,
I
appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
So, which is good. I like. Well, first I want to know what made you kind of do your videos going after the pickup assholes.
Oh, well, I mean, as I've mentioned, when I was, young, I was, kind of a dork, and I didn't, had a lot of problems with girls, and I read The Mystery Method, and that got me nowhere. I made a complete ass of myself. I had I wore this pirate hat, and I looked like a complete dumbass, and I made a complete fool of myself. And then I've kind of had it in for really bad pickup artists after that. And once I learned how to, kind of act like, an actual man and, get girls by, acting like a normal person, I kind of eschewed all that crap, and so I started taking them down.
Well, that's good. I started listening to your Kung Fails, and I happened to see your name about the Derek Rake, and I think, oh my god, that's the most classic one I listened to.
Oh, did you know Derek Rake beforehand?
No, it was just everything you were saying, just ripping on him and stuff,
yeah.
And then the one part, because I wasn't expecting it, and I was laughing at stuff, okay. And then when you said the one you were mocking him, saying hey baby, I got molested once. What a bang! I couldn't stop laughing. I pulled over. I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh my god.
That's what he said. It was in his book. It was oh, my cat died, and do you want to fuck me or something? Some stupid thing like that.
Wow. Yeah, and I was listening, especially when he kept going into the whole thing of, this is my method, this is how it works. You're like, oh my god damn it, what is it? And he said it, and when he finally said what you knew it was, you're like, god damn it. I loved that.
Yeah, I mean, you notice there's certain trends. It's both with the Kung Fu and the PUA things. It's pretty similar. You notice, a lot of these guys overlap with each other. A lot of them go back, the PUA guys, they go back to that, Fractionation, Ross Jeffries, Hypno, whatever. And then with Kung Fu, I mean, so many of these guys go back to Ashita Kim or the Black Dragon Society or whatever like fat ass white boy ninjas you can find.
I heard of the Dillman. I actually did see the National Geographic thing.
Hmm.
So I see like one touch knockout. I was like, what is this? And I watch. I'm like, what is what? And then
Yeah,
the
and the
guy.
sad thing is, like, he was actually at one point like a legitimate karateka. He did win some like tournaments and things, but then, if you can make money selling, superhero nonsense to people, then I don't really blame him for doing that. I mean, I would do it too if I could do that.
Yeah, I did hear about the Count Dante story before.
Yeah, that's another example of a guy who was like he was like a Golden Gloves, Chicago City champion, and he was a karate black belt. But then again, he just kind of started doing this superhero thing.
Yeah, I know the whole selling comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
I know I've seen on Amazon they do sell that his Deadly Secrets book on
Mhm.
Amazon, including the what was it the Fat Ninja Shidoshi one.
Oh, that was upright. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like $100 on Amazon.
I
I'm
know.
like, nah, I'm all right. I'll look up a PDF or something.
Yeah, actually, found some of his stuff for free, and it's like showing the video. It's ridiculous. Like he's like, yeah, do a pole vault. I'm like, this fat fuck has never done a pole vault in his life.
Oh, I know, and I like how the one idiot commenter was like, well, was it Chris Farley a fat ninja? Like, Chris Farley had more athletic than this guy did.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Farley, he played football, he played rugby.
Yeah, and even you see Beverly Hills Ninja, he was doing cartwheels and stuff.
Yeah.
And that, like, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I do love the. Is that probably one of the reasons why you go after the Kung Fail people? Is did you say you are a martial artist too?
Yeah. I took a break for a while because of the COVID, but I've gotten back into it at the place where I live. And they do kickboxing, they do jiu-jitsu, MMA, so I've been getting back into that. And yeah, it's been like a lifelong thing. I've been interested in it. I only started doing it in college, and it's the same thing as with the PUA stuff. I mean, I hate to see people getting scammed by these hucksters, and I want to kind of expose them for what they are.
Okay, cool. No, but yeah, I did say like this is stuff like this. This is why you got into doing your YouTube page. You wanted to show people all this.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, first I did hear about besides the Dillman on the Discovery Channel thing. I did actually watch the Pink Man's videos.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, he was really good.
I wanted to show people something about what he was saying about like Dillman and that, but I didn't see anything. But I saw your name. I'm like, what's this guy talking about? If he's saying the same thing, like, yeah, he is.
Yeah, Pinkman, he did have a really good Dillman video, but I don't know, he kind of went nuts and deleted all his stuff. It's a shame.
Yeah, I know, because there's a few of them I wanted to show, especially about the Frank Duke stuff. I want to show my friend.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna do him eventually because my rule is always that if somebody else has done it, I won't do it. But now those videos are gone, so I guess I have to kind of take the place.
Because I did laugh when I first heard when he said about the Dillman, and it talked about it's like all people that are just complete idiots are gonna think this is the greatest thing in the world, and then he said what's gonna happen if he goes into a bully and just slaps him in basically the tit for everybody? He's gonna get killed.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. And then that's why I heard your video, and me and my friend listened to it at work, and we're just cracking up laughing, like when you kept like calling people out, like, oh, it's Dillman versus like Scorpion, and we're like, what? And he's got the whole T and everything, and then we said the whole here's Colonel Sanders taking out a going what? But no, it's like I do like it. It's good stuff because I mean even on days even like I said when I was listening to the Derek Rake one, it's days I'm having a bad day. It's good stuff to kind of like make you laugh.
Yeah.
And that's why I subscribe to it. It's popular.
Yeah, I mean, people tell me all the time, oh, you should have more subscribers, and I did take a year off because I was engaged to be married to a girl, and she wanted me to get like a better job, and I did too because I want to support a family, and we broke up. It was a lot of issue there, so then I came back to it, and then of course I did actually end up getting a better job later, but it's to hell with her.
You tell that PUA whole story then. Well, this will happen, and this is what happens.
Well, no, I mean, I don't really blame her for. I mean, we're still cordial, but we kind of went our separate ways. Yeah, I don't consider that like a PUA thing per se, but I do kind of mention, my own experiences in those videos because, just by being like a normal person, I actually have had much more success with women than I ever did trying to do that mystery method crap.
Oh, which one was mystery? Was it the one that was doing like the Tommy Wiseau voice? You called it out, or?
Yeah, he actually was pretty popular in the mid 2000s. Like he went on like Conan O'Brien and he had like that feather boa on the top hat.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, like the peacocking. That's why I wore that like tricorn pirate hat. I mean, thankfully I don't have any pictures of that, but but it was back when I was in high school. I walked around with like that pirate hat and tried to like peacock at girls, and it just failed miserably.
Yeah, you're probably wondering like, how's it working for this guy?
Yeah, I know.
This guy in his own, yeah. It's even the one video you showed me, like this guy is like doing like look at me like banger here and here. And you're like wait, how is he doing that? No, he's not doing. You even called it out like no. show.
Yeah, you talking about Vince Kelvin?
Yeah, that's who it was, Vince Kelvin.
Yeah, that guy. I think he's honestly the worst of all the PUAs I've done.
He does have the Tommy Wiseau voice. Like, and he's like basically telling everybody, want to bang me? I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's not Mister. I mean, Vince Kelvin. He's Dutch, I want to say. Yeah, so he has an accent, and he's like 5 foot nothing, and he's like 50 years old. It's just so pathetic that this old man is like trying to chase after these young girls.
Listening to him lately, what got you into doing the reading of Steven Seagal's book?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was born in '91, so I kind of grew up watching Seagal and Van Damme and all those guys, and I do like his early movies. Like I mentioned in my first Seagal video, I mean, I'll still yell out like whose hot dog is this, huh? Is it yours? From Out for Justice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with him, he's kind of gone crazy in the past 10 years or so. He's like hanging around with like Vladimir Putin, and he's like doing like sexual trafficking, and he pretends to be a police officer. And when I saw he wrote this like spy thriller novel, I was like, oh, I have to read this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, cause the video I'm on, I think it's the 4 through 7 video, but it's pretty funny. I hear you telling it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think like, this book actually sounds pretty good, but it could be you're reading it. That's why.
Yeah. It's not too crazy now. It's gonna get weird because, as you know, Steven Seagal likes to pretend that he's a Native American, so he starts having these like magical powers and stuff.
Oh yeah, because I watched his interview with on the Scott Adkins podcast, and he said that's what he was. As he named his nationality, he did say now all of a sudden he's Native American now.
Yeah, he's not actually. His father's a Russian Jew and his mother is Irish, so he's not any percent Native American.
Yeah, I figured. I remember him saying that before. I know he did say on his whole nationality that he's Russian something, then said I'm Native American. I'm like, wait, you're Native American now?
Yeah, I mean, I one of my videos I did show he has said that he's like Mongolian or something. He's not that either.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said Russian, Mongolian, and Native American. I was like, huh. He was telling a story about when he went to Japan to try to learn the more lethal arts of Aikido.
Yeah, I mean, he did legitimately do that, so I'll give him his due there.
Because they asked him like, oh, they're probably worried this big tall white guy. He's like, well, I'm not really white, and he did the whole a Russian, Mongolian, and Native American. So I'm a mutt. I was like I never heard Native American.
Well, I mean, he was in that movie On Deadly Ground where he like went on like the Vision quest and stuff.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. No, but yeah, I agree with you. I'm more of a fan of like 88 to like 97 period of him.
Yeah, his movies were good.
And of course, like everybody like tells me like when I mention his films, and then right away it's like, oh yeah, do you have Executive Decision? Like I have it, but not as a Seagal movie. He's only in it like halfway or like 20 minutes. Because even when I first seen it with a cousin of mine, who was a huge fan of him of that era, and he was like really pissed at the film. Like what?
Yeah, that was also the movie where he like started bullying around John Leguizamo, who was half his size.
Well, he did say, Leguizamo said he started laughing at something he said. He thought he was joking. Which if he's supposed to be like they said on set, like at times, oh, I'm joking around. You think, oh, he's just messing around. I'm just gonna giggle at this. I thought they did say he was supposed to have a bigger part in the film, but I think even like Kurt Russell didn't want to work with him because of at the time it's more allegations were coming out about him. That's why they had to cut his role down. So how's everything? Where do you live at?
I live in New Jersey. It's going alright.
Oh, so yeah, you got hit pretty bad by the winter storm and stuff?
Yeah, it was snowing pretty heavy for a while, but it's clearing up now. It's pretty warm.
Yeah, it's over here. It was like every day I clear the driveway, and all of a sudden it's like I go outside, I see the flakes. I'm like, God damn it. It's funny because it goes to the Derek Rigg video on one of my other episodes. I quoted a line you said because when they're talking about it was some cancel culture thing, and all these people were like, oh yeah, he says it, so I'm on board, and it sounded ridiculous, and I commented the line, well, this is the blind lead to stupid, and somebody's like, what line was that? I was like, oh, it's from this video.
I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. That's been a thing for a while.
Oh, really? I that's the first time I heard it was listening to your video. I thought,
yeah,
oh, that's a good line.
I mean, I don't remember exactly where I heard it, but I know I'm not going to take credit for something I didn't come up with. That's definitely has been said before.
Oh, well, okay. But I thought it was a great line. Like, oh, I got to say it right here because.
Oh well, I'll take credit for it if you want.
Well, the video, people want to know what the credit for. I'll give it to you. Because, like I said, this is why when I went to the popular YouTube comment, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to my subscription list, and everybody you were on the list. Like, of course, we interview you, definitely.
All right, but yeah, like let's talk about you for a second. So, how long have you been doing your podcast?
I started back at the beginning of September.
Oh, cool.
I try to do weekly with it, but then it's trying to find an idea and then editing the episodes, so it ended up taking time. So it ends up being like maybe could be a couple weeks, could be 3 weeks.
All right, cool. So if you don't mind me asking, like, who else has been on your podcast?
I had which when the YouTube page come up, you'll see the episodes up,
right.
And I had an episode on adaptations in film, and I had my friend Amber, her boyfriend Nate, and then a friend of ours named Zach, and they were just talking about like video game, movies based on video games or.
That's cool.
And then anime and book adaptations.
Cool. Yeah, I actually started very early early on doing a little bit of that. But I just feel like that's a dime a dozen on YouTube. I want to do something a little different.
Yeah, that's what I tend to do too. Like I won't go into some genre stuff, but I'll basically talk about it like being a fan of it and not try to be like everyone else. Like, oh, well, everybody hates it, so I gotta say I hate it too. Like, no, if I like it, I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same idea, except with me, I saw nobody was really taking down PUA guys. Nobody was doing like the anthropology and history videos. Well, I mean, there are like some history guys nowadays, but yeah, that is actually one of the doesn't get too many views, but that's one of my kind of passion projects to kind of I call it like unfucking the field of anthropology because I do love the field so much, but it's a lot of it is this SJW like hippie nonsense, which I hate. And my style was more of like the archaeological side, and if I could kind of really bring like the actual science of it back instead of the stuff which I feel does so much damage to modern society. Like that would be like one of my long-term goals.
Oh, that's good. I don't go into criticizing them too much, but I tend to like a lot of times rip on like SJW or cancel culture, and it's like there's times like I'll clarify to people like if you're talking about like Weinstein or Spacey go to hell, like yeah, I'll agree with it. But if it's like other ridiculous stuff like a guy made a joke, doubt cancel, I'm like no, it's a joke, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I do mention that a little bit, but my thing is more about how I talk about like John Money and how his fraudulent studies are the basis of so much of the like transgender stuff that goes on nowadays, and like these kids were literally driven to like suicide because of what he did.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah, very sad.
Wow, that's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's why I did like about listen to your pages because you kind of just talk it away of it, and you're not worried about do I side with this group? You're just like, no, this is where I'm standing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like to say I'm a scientist, and I kind of just like to protect things as objectively as possible.
Well, no, that's good.
Yeah, and I even like in my Margaret Mead videos, like even though I disagree with her on a lot of things, I do give her credit for stuff that she did right.
Yeah, like I even got criticized because one of my videos was martial arts film genre I did, and I did it as a kind of a celebratory thing because the weekend before I just got my black belt taekwondo,
cool.
And I did talk about these people I'm fans of, and right away I got comments, oh, you're fans of this guy, but did he do this? I was like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about him and his film work. I don't care about it. I mean, I'm not saying I don't care. I'm saying that's not what I'm talking about in this episode.
Yeah, one of my something I haven't done like a video or article on it yet, but it's something I've been kind of toying with is if you pay attention, like a lot of action heroes especially, they're not exactly exemplars of behavior. A lot of them have like illegitimate children or what have you.
Yeah, that's what I did. But yeah, like guest wise, I know I did that, but then I did it was like the beginning of February. I had a one on gangster film genre, and I was able to get Michael Francis on here. So
oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's supposedly like people that's outside my friend circle wise, just Michael Francis, and right now you, and there's another guy. He said he's up for doing the interview, just trying to find a time to set him down to interview.
Mm-hmm.
He runs his own YouTube page, just calls it the Viking Samurai.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah, so yeah, he's all for it. I think I don't know if he's trying to find time to do it or he's waiting for the YouTube page to go up first, which should be happening this week. So.
Oh yeah, so I'll definitely be looking out for that because I'm a fan of his.
Oh yeah, definitely. But there's like other people I did ask for the episode, and a couple I didn't hear back from, and one is he runs the Dead Meat channel that does like the kill counts and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've not that one specifically, but I've seen other like Carnage counts used to be one, but I know they're not around anymore.
Yeah, well he does like that. He does his own podcast, but him and his wife just moved into a new house they're fixing up. So right now they said they weren't worried about the house. They would be able time to do it, but they did say like try like something like maybe later in the year. But so far it's like I got these set up interview wise. So but I'll say the first off, thank you for being on here. Definitely.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, listen to I gotta finish the current chapters you're reading. I can't wait to listen to the next chapters.
Yeah, it's gonna be probably the week after next, since I already have a thing planned out for next week, which is a sequel to the one I just posted this morning.
Oh, I didn't listen to it. Is that the Nathan Larson one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know the name. Was he on the PUA hole or some other?
No, he was. I do that show Fail Sons, which is just sort of like making fun of the lol cows, like people who just make asses of themselves on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a piece of work. He's like this. I call him like the Libertarian Party's greatest embarrassment, which is saying a lot. And then. Yeah, he's like a pedophile, white supremacist, like just complete gibbering lunatic, and yeah, he's going to prison. So I was making fun of him for that.
Oh well, yeah, good. You have to make fun of those idiots.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to kidnap some girl, and thankfully, they got her out okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I'll definitely check that video out. Listen to what you say on that one.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a little preview of what's next week. So one of his fans, he has fans, did like this rap to, as like a protest song to freedom. It's like the worst piece of music I've ever heard in my life. So I said, I'm a 30-year-old white man, and even I know I can rap better than this guy. So I'm making like a diss track for next week.
Oh God, I can't wait to hear this. Another fun. Oh, and I would say earlier another funny one was. I know you commented that you got like kind of criticism comments. Was you talking about that Gene LaBelle video? But I'm sorry, even
Yeah.
a fan, you can't look at that video and think, "Oh, this is great." I was watching like, what?
Yeah, I know. Like, he is like a legit, badass. He's like the first American to be a grandmaster of judo. He's a legit tough guy. But yeah, this video is completely ridiculous.
I know it's just like even some of the stuff I was saying, I'm like, I'm not gonna make a comment here, but then I'm thinking that you said the whole it's only gay if you look at each other. I'm like, okay, you said it, I didn't. But then the whole then especially when you get to the end, it's like I'm gonna fight all these guys, and we all went in the next room, and I come out with everybody stripped. I'm like, what?
Hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sorry, as a fan, you can't think this is great. This is ridiculous. Which is what which is you kind of point out. And you even said like all those people are like, oh, what do you know? It's like dude, you're just talking about the video. You're not ripping him.
Yeah, and I even acknowledge he's like in his late 80s. He could still like kick my ass up and down the block.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, he said he was doing that for years. It seemed like he always
Yeah.
kicked people's ass.
Mhm.
And then the whole like Seagal story thing with him. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've heard so many different stories on that. I don't know what's the real thing on that.
Yeah, I would take Gene's word for it that he put him in a rear naked choke and he passed out and he just soiled himself.
Oh yeah, well yeah, especially especially if he's legit knows how to put that hole in choke.
Oh, absolutely, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for and if it was around that time of like '91, of course Seagal probably would be kind of cocky about how you could take him or something like that. It was really cool to finally actually get this speak to you on here.
Yeah, no problem.
Like I said, like I love your channel. That's why I definitely want to interview you for this.
Yeah, I've done a few interviews, a couple of years ago with some other, podcasts and things. I always like talk to the fans.
Well, no, it's great because when I put all the messages out and like day or two later I wasn't hearing nothing and I just see you, I'm like, oh wow, you actually respond. It's great.
Yeah, one of my favorite channels. I do Nick's Strength and Power. It's like a weightlifting and bodybuilding channel. Yeah, he gave us advice on how to increase your channel. And the first one is interact with your fans as much as possible.
Well, it's awesome, and I'm happy to have you on here.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, yeah, definitely. I will. Well, I mean, I'm definitely let you know when the YouTube page is up, so you can check out the other episodes.
Yeah, sure.
Hopefully they don't cut a lot of stuff out there because I do the episodes where I read comments and I respond to them, and then I tend to go rant a little bit when I respond, especially if it's a ridiculous comment.
Yeah.
Like I had somebody tell me one time, it's like, oh, you support this, but you gotta worry about these Jewish-made lasers that start forest fires. I went, oh my.
What?
Somebody actually said that in a comment. You have to worry about this. I said I was defending something, and they said, worry about these guys making these lasers that start forest fires, and I gave them the Red Foreman dumbass when I heard it. Like, I had to.
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned like the Jewish laser conspiracy or whatever, because in the Nathan Larson video, he has like these websites for his fellow pedophiles, and they're like, oh well, like the Jewish therapists make it so people don't want to have sex with little girls, which is weird because the neo-Nazis say the Jews make people pedophiles, so how can they be both? And then I had the picture of like the meme of the two Spider-Men pointing at each other, and it's like, oh my God, Jews have opened up parallel dimensions.
But yeah, I'll definitely check that because I want to see that. 'Cause it's funny as hell. 'Cause like I do say that that's one thing about your videos are great was like especially if I'm having a bad day, they crack me up.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, definitely I'll let you know when that YouTube page is up, and of course definitely hey, here's the episode for sure.
All right, I'll be looking forward to it.
All right, well cool. I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
All right,
Nice.
and I'll definitely get to interact with you more, especially with what more content you're doing.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Well, that was the interview with Larson. Pretty fun interview. Yeah, you're gonna notice my audio was out, like you couldn't barely hear me. Well, while I was doing the audio test and I was listening, I kind of was resting my head and I hit the mute button, but on my headset. But luckily, my computer picked me up, so you could hear me somewhat. But we got Larson. He heard me. We had a very fun interview. Him bringing up the stuff about the pickup asshole, especially that David Rake. Oh my God, it's like the greatest fucking episode ever. And all the stuff he says in there is great. Like we talked about the, using a story to get laid part. Oh my God. But like I said, you listen to him tell his story, it's funny as hell. Just hearing him talk when he was talking to me, I was cracking up the whole time. You listen to his stuff on YouTube, it's funny. There he is talking, it's just hilarious. And I'm glad to talk to him on Twitter and stuff, and I definitely will link this to him in the description. And again, Larson, thank you for coming on the show. This was excellent. And you definitely, one of the reasons this episode's going to be really good. All right, now on with our next interview. Same thing, YouTube. I mean, he doesn't rip things like Larson does. I mean, Larson's stuff he rips are easily rippable, like these Kung fails. Raphael Raphael Torrey, George Dillman, Ishida Kim, the douchebag Charlie Zelenoff. You want to see a guy who looked like a total tool and an idiot? Look up Charlie Zelenoff. Yeah. Or look up Larson's video about Charlie Zelenoff. But if you want to see Larson's content, go to him on YouTube. LARSENHALLECK. He's been on any other things. He was on a thing called Gab, but I'll let Larson tell you.
You can also follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. I no longer advertise my Gab because Gab sucks.
Well, there you go. That's what I'll tell you. Well, there you go. No better words than that. Well, we're on to the next interview, Mr. Viking Samurai. Like I talked about before, he talks about martial arts and other certain things like, it helps you with exercise and stuff like Larson does. He's the more neutral when it comes to Stegall, but his is more just being the fan, talk about the 80s stuff. So his stuff's more of, hey, I want to hear about these guys, or hey, I want to hear information about this movie, or what happened here. He gives you that stuff when it comes to the films of the 80s, because he wants, show love for the 80s, 90s films, and who doesn't love that? For that shit over some of the stuff today. He's also been doing these great volume interviews with Stephen Lambert, who I'll be talking on my show as well. So, like I said, you'll find all this stuff on his YouTube page on Viking Samurai, and if you need me to spell that, that's ridiculous. But ladies and gentlemen, here is my interview with Viking Samurai himself. Take it away.
Thanks, man.
Basically, like I said, this episode's about trying to interview people with the YouTube content, and first question I want to ask you is what got you into doing this YouTube page?
Just a creative outlet. So when I started my channel, I didn't even really have a focus, to be honest with you. I've always been into kind of film editing and stuff, and I just wanted to do something. Like, if anybody watches my earlier videos, by the way, I'm kind of all over the place. I think I do an unboxing on the Sega Genesis Mini. I do a video where, I fixed my garage door because the torsion spring broke. Basically, I was just hungry to create something, And then eventually, it seemed that people were kind of digging this 80s and 90s action martial art movie content, which I've always been into. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be the focus for the most part. But the channel's still evolving.
Well, that's good. I started my podcast. It was just to be about movie-related stuff, but then I started looking at other creative outlets, like why focus just on genre when I focus on stuff involving stunts and choreography, or my just recent episode about what could have been Spider-Man movie from the 80s.
Oh, you mean the one from Canon Films?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a video on that about, what was it? It was going to be Spider-Man. Oh, wait. So Masters of the Universe 2 and Spider-Man ended up becoming Cyborg, right?
Yeah, I talked about that, but I talked about when they first started it, it was supposed to be bigger and everything, but they started focusing their stuff on other projects to try to build themselves up more, and they ended up losing more money, so it ended up taking budget away from Spider-Man.
Well, the funny thing is just a history of Canon Films, because I recently interviewed stuntman Stephen Lambert on the channel, and he talks about, because he worked with Canon Films a lot, with some old Chuck Norris movies, with Revenge of the Ninja, with American Ninja, and just there's no budget, and he never did it for the money. He just had a lot of fun with it, but they're always telling him we got no money, so he had to be even more creative.
Because I watched that documentary they call it Electric Boogaloo, so I seen all that.
I need to see that still. I've been meaning to. But
I know they had it on Netflix for a bit, but of course they took it down. But it's on Prime. You can rent it for like $2.
Interesting.
Or I think there might be some YouTube links, but we'll leave that out so YouTube doesn't say, "Hey, wait a minute," and it'll go look for it.
Sure.
But yeah, I remember watching that, and I remember when they told the story about when they signed Stallone with that big money deal, and all those actors walked. They're like, "No, I want what he's getting."
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, what kind of cat is that?
Oh, you see him on the. Oh, that's Ollie Hatch.
He's
the Sphinx. He's been showing up those, It's a good cat.
No, yeah, it's good. I just saw his head sticking in there. Like, oh yeah, because I have a friend that does Twitch, and the cat always appears on there.
I mean, honestly, he's gonna end up being the biggest star in the channel.
I've been watching those part interviews with Lambert's pretty good because I wanted to hear what's the real story with about the whole Seagal LaBelle thing. Because even the guy I interviewed for this episode, Larson, he did a video making fun of Gene LaBelle's instructional video, which shows all these moves, and it's supposed to end with I'm gonna beat up 10 guys. All they do is go in another room, and he comes out, and everybody's all he beat him up. But what the hell is this? And of course, people ripped him for making fun of it. But it's like you watch that video. you can't take that seriously.
Sure.
That's like saying if you see Seagal do that in a video and say, let's go in the next room, he comes out, I beat them all up, you're probably gonna be like, well, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I like what I drew me to your channel was, one, I've always been a big Stallone guy, so right away that got me. And I always loved like Van Damme and Seagal. I'm more of a classic Seagal. I'm like more of a 88 to 97 era Seagal. That's when he seems like he was brutalizing people more.
I think that's most people. The only really movie I liked a lot outside of that was when he tried to make that comeback with Exit Wounds.
Yeah, I liked Exit Wounds, but which he even said when he talked to that interview with Scott Adkins, I didn't like when they kept using him for wire work in there and stuff.
I absolutely despise wire work. And yeah, he looked ridiculous doing that defying physics move when he's fighting those people outside of his truck that they're trying to break into.
Yeah,
I'm like, that just looks stupid.
when he did that flip and that kick, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or even when he did like the flip over the guy's head in that club, I was like, no. I was like, maybe 88 Seagal could have done this, but not now.
Yeah, more like Jet Li could do that, but not Seagal's too big to do that, man. Like even when he was in shape, he's just such a big guy. I can't see him doing that.
I like when he told that story when he said he went to the areas of Japan to learn classic Aikido, and he said when he walked down the street, everybody's staring at him like, whoa, what the hell is this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would probably look tall in if I went to Japan, and I'm like average height here, so I'm sure he looked like a freak out there.
Yeah, did you see that Scott Adkins interview with him? Or?
Yeah, I actually liked it because I thought, Scott Adkins treated it with a lot of respect, which Seagal just doesn't really get. And like you said, you're a fan of his like 88 to 97, so I feel like you got to respect those movies, but people dislike him so much that they're discounting the good work that he did. I mean, I'm not saying his movies now are good. In fact, let's be honest, they're really not. But you can't just trash the stuff he did when he was in his prime.
Oh no, I loved it. I mean, I'll even say he was ahead of his time. Like if he did he has to be the shape he was back in '93. But if he did On Deadly Ground now, everybody would just flock to it because back then nobody gave a shit when he talked about the environment.
Oh yeah, totally ahead of his time. Yeah, I made a video called "Why Steven Seagal is Great," and I touched upon that. Like he was talking about this stuff, yeah, like you said in '93, and now all of a sudden, it's trendy. Like what, 30 years later or something?
Yeah, I was planning because I write scripts and I haven't sold nothing unfortunately yet. This year hopefully changes that.
Oh, cool.
But I was planning on writing something like in that vein where somebody like who knows the martial arts skills fights like thugs that like I would use like maybe the activism against that pipeline in Dakota as a backdrop, but use the same thing where he uses like the martial arts to take thugs out, something like that.
Interesting.
I just did a script where it's like Die Hard in a mall, and I actually wrote the fight scenes out like classic, like Van Damme Norris type stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you have like an agent or anything?
No, not yet. I'm still just trying to get in touch with one or send one to one.
I mean, basically, like once you sell one, not only sell one, once it gets made, like you're good, you're set. That's what I actually majored in screenwriting and film editing, which is also why I like YouTube as a creative outlet, because I could just do everything myself, which when you're working in film, such a collaborative effort, and it could be frustrating, but yeah, basically once you have a movie made that you wrote, like you're just so in demand. Well, assuming it doesn't flop, of course, but
yeah, I mean, I look at it like especially because I was trying to one time I wrote the script and I was trying to do the funding and everything to try to make the film myself with a crew I'd find and stuff, and small crew, and I looked at it as long as I make it and it gets out there, that's all that matters to me.
That's huge, man. Opens doors big time.
Yeah, because I wrote a book and it's on Amazon and Barnes, and I looked at it as at least I wrote a book and it's out there.
Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah, I'll put the title.
Yeah, I'll be curious. So look, I'm curious.
Yeah, it's just like, but I looked at everyone's like, well, you have to think of it being a success, and I look at it like I always say the Rocky way. As long as I got it out there, that's all that matters.
Sure.
Yeah, I love watching the Adkins podcast because he just like how you talk about it like a fan, or he talks to them like fans, not like, oh, I have to be typical interviewer and I have to bring up these bad stuff. He looks at it as, hey, what styles did you do? Hey, why'd you do this movie? Or hey, how'd you get into business? Stuff like that.
Yeah, he's just showing a lot of respect, and like you said, you could tell it's genuine because he, at the end of the day, is a fan, and that's why he does what he does now, because he was watching these guys.
And some of these guys, like a few of them I never heard of. Like I never heard of this Lauren Avedon, and I watch his videos and I'm like, wow, this guy was a fucking beast. How is he not? Was he not?
dude from King of the Kickboxers?
Yeah.
Who fought Billy Blanks? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, part of it was I don't know if I think he said I don't know if his wife left him or his wife passed away, but he had to take care of his daughter.
Oh,
So that's part of
okay.
it. But also when he did King of the Kickboxers, the I guess girl in there, that was like her first movie. She kept constantly like complaining about stuff. So finally he said, "Stop complaining. At least you're on a movie." And she
Yeah.
badmouthed them to people, and so people were like, "Oh, I don't want to use him."
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I see those fight scenes. I'm like, how is this guy not? Was this guy not fighting Jet Li in a movie or something like that?
Yeah. No, there were a lot of talented guys back then, and I did a video on like top 5 martial arts movie stars who weren't Jean-Claude Van Damme or Steven Seagal. And all these guys had a shot to, they were in a theatrical released film like Jeff Speakman and Mark Dacascos.
Oh
And
yeah.
but there were so many other guys like Avedon, which I'm going to do a follow-up series on just the guys who never got in the theater, but they did some good, straight to video work like Billy Blanks, Lau Murray, Avedon, etc.
Yeah, Daniel Bernhardt.
Bernhardt, yeah. And then who's another guy I really like? Oh, what's that dude's name? Jeff Wincott was really good. There's a lot of guys.
Yeah, that's why when Atkins does his podcast, he does the advertising for the guests. Every time I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, I wonder if he'll put Jeff Speakman in next week. Jeff Speakman. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, he's had some really good guests.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I did see that the 5 videos on the guys of the '90s. I love that video because I love Philip Rhee in the Best for the Best movies.
Oh yeah, he was amazing, especially in part 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Speakman, of course. I love Perfect Weapon.
Yeah,
Especially when he takes out the one guy with the Kenpo sequence in that gym.
Oh yeah, the Taekwondo guys.
Yeah, I've heard they said even today he still could do it with that speed too. So
Interesting.
that would be one of those like he's gonna test this on you. I'd be flinching so bad, like. But I've heard them say even on those fight scenes, like, hey, if you get contact in a fight in a movie, just keep going because it'll look good. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
all right.
definitely. Keep going, man. That's the one you want to use.
Yeah, because I brought this up on another episode. Somebody was commenting on, I did a gangster film episode and I interviewed a former mobster on there. And I was talking about this one mobster that was a martial artist. And they said, oh, the whole martial arts thing on a guy would make him pay quick. I was like, hey, I got a sidekick with a pad on my chest. It still knocked the wind out of me. So, yeah, if I get that kick, I'm going to be like, here's my money and take this as well.
Sure.
But yeah, that's one content like that. Like I like all those guys you mentioned, like that Thomas Ian Griffith, like especially Excessive Force.
Another great movie, man.
Yeah, that especially when he hits Hendrickson with that sidekick off that ladder at the end. I loved it. I saw him running up, like, oh, here comes the flying sidekick, and then he hit him, and then especially the axe kick. I'm like, because he's another big tall ass guy. So
yeah, no, he reminds me of like if Steven Seagal did Taekwondo instead of Aikido, that would be him.
Yeah, I mean, like good fight scenes in there, and like, even though people probably laugh at Karate Kid 3, he's like the best part of it.
No, he's amazing in that. I love Karate Kid 3.
Yeah, and then of course, I mean, I love him as the villain in that John Carpenter's Vampire.
Yeah, people always bring that role up, especially like when they comment on my video, like, "What about vampires?" I'm like, yeah, no, he's good in that.
Oh yeah, no, I like him. And I've seen like other clips of movies he did. Like there's a one I think I sent you a link or a name about called Behind Enemy Lines is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I need to look into that.
Oh, and then I love Dacascos, of course.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad he's getting stuff today, like his role in the new John Wick movie, the last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see him get a bigger role like that because he does so many, low budget, straight to video stuff. But yeah, to see him, in a big role like that, in a big movie like that, that's great to see. Definitely.
Yeah, I did love. Yeah, because when I did see somebody say, "Hey, you guys see Only the Strong," and I seen, I'm like, this is a great film. Like, how did he not capitalize with it? And then he said he couldn't promote it because he was doing that Double Dragon movie.
Double Dragon.
Like, oh yeah.
Only the Strong, man, was amazing. So that was a Sheldon Lettich movie.
Yes.
From Double Impact, Lionheart, wrote Bloodsport, wrote Rambo 3. Sheldon Lettich, in my opinion, just a legend among like action directors. Doesn't have like a huge, filmography, but what he's done is, I mean, those are literally like all of my favorite movies of all time, not just the action genre,
Yeah. There's like another guy who did. There's a guy. I mean, he kind of like big in the 80s, 90s. He does like a lot of these sci-fi channel straight to video now, which is kind of a shame. It's a guy named Mark L. Lester. Like he did Commando and Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Love Showdown in Little Tokyo. I think he also did. He worked with Mark Dacascos in The Base. I think he did because they marketed like the director of Commando. And then when you watch the base, you're like, boy, this guy's quality really went downhill. You know?
Yeah, Commando like his big deal, but he did like his other, like his action was more grittier, smaller. Like I know he did the one really crazy, future movie I watched the other day called Class of 1999.
Oh, he did that? That's funny.
Yeah, I think he did Class of 1984. That was like his big break.
Well, the funny thing is, Class of '99, obviously when it came out, was a futuristic movie. Now it's just like it's almost like a Western these days. It's so like long ago. So
when you watch the whole issue with the school in here, you're like, wait, this is supposed to be the future? Like, yeah, this has already happened already, dude.
Yeah,
but yeah, I watched it the other day and I was like, I rented it and I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is really good. I was like, this is good, some funny stuff. And then when it said, this guy directed all this, and I said Showdown Little Tokyo, I'm like, yep, he got my attention there.
Yeah.
When I did the martial arts genre episode and I brought up Bruce and Brandon, I got upset talking about it because like those guys should have been huge.
Oh, what do you mean? Should have been huge.
If I said Bruce and Brandon Lee, if they lived, they should have been big deals.
Oh, I mean, just with how little time they were here with us. I mean, they got pretty huge.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, but I really would I still look at it. I wish they would have stayed alive and had had a longer career.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of sad, especially like Bruce Lee just coming off of his biggest movie, that the U.S. studio, Enter the Dragon. Then Brandon Lee with The Crow. It's like, I mean, they really, really left on a high note.
I mean, yeah, I look at it that way too. But like, I'll look at it stuff like, man, if Brandon Lee was alive, he would have been great in this movie or stuff like that. Because somebody threw an idea. They said, hey, if Bruce Lee was still alive in the 90s, what if he would have played Morpheus in The Matrix? Like, oh, I would have been great.
Well, I think Brandon Lee was supposed to play Neo. That's what
Yeah, I heard that, and then I heard originally the story what became Die Hard with a Vengeance was supposed to be a movie for him, but then they took it and made Die Hard with a Vengeance with it. I mean, it still worked, but that would have been interesting to see Brandon Lee play.
Yeah, what could have been, man. That's such a shame.
Yeah, I did see it. They left on a high note, and it's also funny knowing that, well, not funny, but it's weird knowing that the double that had to finish those scenes of Brandon Lee is the director of John Wick.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, speaking of Brandon Lee, by the way, which I don't want to keep plugging my channel's videos, but
hey, this is the time to do it.
Hey guys, watch the tribute I did to Brandon Lee, because essentially, there's a lot of good info in there, but that's one of my favorite videos, not only because of the subject, but I tie a really good message, and I kind of made it at the time when we were first going through this quarantine. So it has like a bigger message in general, just about life, and it goes deep. So that's definitely, it was like the right time and the right, person to do it on. Brandon Lee, obviously, is like a bit short, but that's one of the videos I'm most proud of. But like really the end where I tie everything together, it's got a deeper message in general.
It's been a while since I watched it, but I remember because I was listening to it in the car because my job is delivering papers, so I would listen to videos. So if I see new content from you, I'll play it while I'm in the car.
Oh, thanks.
Well, hey, no problem. Yeah, I say you have great content, and of course it's like I still love watching like old, and sometimes if it looks really interesting, I'll watch a new Van Damme thing, and I see, oh, this guy likes Van Damme, like, hey, I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about his new Netflix movie. To be honest, with like over the last 10 years, I would say the only Van Damme movie I loved was The Bouncer. There were so many others that are forgettable, but The Bouncer I would put up there with like the stuff in the 90s. Like, this is just a good movie, just a great movie. And
knowing you're both fans, I'm sure you probably went apeshit with Stallone versus Van Damme in an Expendables movie.
Oh man, that was a dream. An absolute dream.
I heard even though he was doing those spin kicks, he was having hip issues at that time, but he still did those spin kicks like nothing.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. I don't know if he's got arthritis or what, but now they still look the same that they did in the 90s.
Oh, I know, because he hit that kick when he said, when Stallone said, I'm coming back up, he knocked him, go back down. I was like, I love that part. It's like,
yeah, that's a great fight.
Even they said, even the sunglasses, he almost looked pretty much the same, but then when he took the sunglasses off, you kind of see the crow's feet. You can tell he's older, but he looked pretty much the same. When he did the roundhouse, when Scott Adkins held the knife up to Liam Hemsworth's head, he kicked it in his chest. So like, oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then when I see the Adkins like yell at Statham, I'm like, yes, they're gonna fight in here. And then I looked at like, in a real fight, I think Adkins probably take Statham though.
I think they downplayed a lot of Adkins, and I bet you, Statham is good, but Adkins would have just looked way more impressive as a martial artist if they allowed him to do all of the, signature Atkins moves. So
Oh
I
yeah.
bet you it's almost like they didn't want him to. I don't know if it would stay them or what, but a lot of times, actors might have an ego. It's like, well, I don't want this guy to look better than me. Since I'm winning the fight, he can't look flashier.
Well, Atkins talked about on one of those episodes. I think he talked about with Bernhardt. He said that it was the director that told him downplay because Statham said, "Give me everything you
Oh,
got."
really?
Because
Oh,
even when he went
okay, that's
against Daniel
interesting.
Bernhardt that fight in Parker, he told Daniel Bernhardt, "Just come at me with everything." And Bernhardt's
Okay.
like, "Are you sure? Are you the star?" He's like, "No, I wanted to look like you're gonna just kill me here," and it almost looks like he does. And
Interesting.
I'd like, yeah, Bernhardt telling his stories like when I did the fall off the thing and I was all having fun, and then even the director's yelling, "Stop having so much goddamn fun!" It's like, because that was another one I liked was watching Bernhardt because I kept thinking even back in the '90s, oh man, it would have been epic if you would have had him versus like Van Damme in a movie because they looked so similar when they fought.
Yeah,
I think they
yeah.
did it later and it was decent, but I was like, this should have happened years ago.
Well, I mean, the Expendables should have happened in the 90s. Can you
Oh,
imagine when
oh
all those
yeah,
dudes were in their prime? That would
oh
have been
yeah.
insane.
Even though it was like 2010, 2011 that era, but I still was happy anyways because like I mean I was still a Stallone fan even though he was almost kind of like on the downtrodden a bit. But when he came back with like Rocky and Rambo, I was like yes.
I'm so glad he made that comeback. And I feel like Expendables was kind of like him helping everybody else make a comeback. Let's get Arnold back. And then
Oh
obviously
yeah.
wanted Van Damme in the first one, get him in the second one. It's like he's almost like extending that, hey guys, let's all come back, you know?
Oh yeah, and I laughed at because I talked about a 2011 when there was almost a chance they could have pulled Steve Austin back into a wrestling ring, and he said, "No, I don't think I'm physically good." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I just saw you fight Stallone throwing yourself around.
He broke
Bullshit."
Stallone's neck too in
Yeah, I was
real
like,
life,
"Yeah,
didn't he?
so bullshit. You can't do it in a ring. You're doing it here." So
Yeah, he didn't fine.
yeah, but I like that. But when I heard like when I was hearing all the cast going in there, and I heard Austin, I'm like, "Oh, this would be great." And I see, but Austin's a bad guy. But then I seen the like, "Oh, he's gonna fight Stallone. This is cool because it's like my childhood right here."
Sure,
And then of
sure.
course, then you see the second movie when you see the whole face off of Van Damme and Stallone. I'm like, okay, this is even.
The
But
dream match.
and then I told somebody, then somebody commented to me in the theater, "Oh, Van Damme was holding back because he totally would have destroyed Stallone." I'm like, "Oh yeah, definitely."
Lionheart versus Rocky.
Oh, I know, cause there's another guy, cause I was trying to watch a clip about some really ridiculous film. I'll think about it in a second. And he was talking about, brought up like Lionheart and like Bloodsport. He was just ripping him, and I'm like, this guy sounds like an idiot.
Oh, so who was ripping him?
I gotta think of the name, but I was looking, and he's like, oh, it's just like Lionheart was this like crappy version of Bloodsport. I'm like, crappy? Kiss my ass.
Lionheart is just amazing, man. Just
Yeah.
everything they did because they made so many underground fight films back in the day, but there's no character. And I've done several videos just talking about like why we love this character so much. I mean, Lionheart just it hits you emotionally. Like I'll rewatch it for the fight scenes, but I just love the character so much. He's just like, how could you not like him? And of course, they got have like a real score in the movie from an
Yeah.
orchestra, not some cheesy whatever the crappy music they do for most of those kind of movies, especially the fight scenes. It's just like, ugh, you almost like cringe at it. But
Yeah.
Lionheart is like a real movie, even though
Oh yeah.
the subject matter is such a B movie, but it's like this is like a real movie. I
Yeah.
think the cinematographer is even the guy that worked on Empire Strikes Back, I think.
Oh yeah, but why did it say? I mean, because they're still great. I think if any movie is kind of similar to Bloodsport, it would be his movie The Quest, because the
Oh
tournament,
yeah, that's
and he
totally
beats
like
and he fights
Bloodsport.
the big guy at the end. So then he's talking about Bloodsport. Yes, Bloodsport had more money. It's still crappy. I'm like, you shut the hell up. Bloodsport's a classic.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
they
was.
caught lightning in a bottle with Bloodsport. Like, just, I don't know, man. It's one of those movies where when I watch it now, like, I just fall in love all over again.
Yeah, was one thing I'm hoping, as I'm pretty sure he could do it because he's worked with him numerous times. Is I know Atkins is trying to focus more towards the underrated guys and the stunt guys, but I think he's got like Van Damme playing in the future or something like that.
Oh, I
That'll be
would be
the.
shocked if he didn't. I mean, they've worked together. Van Damme's like the main guy that inspired him.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
be shocked if Atkins didn't interview Van Damme. Like, he has to have him on there, you know?
I think somebody commented once to him. He's like, "Hey, what about Van Damme?" And he put a smiley face and said, "Just wait." And like,
Yeah,
so I think he's
that's
got it
gonna
planned.
happen.
Like,
I mean,
or it
maybe
could be
when
when.
Van Damme releases The Last Mercenary, the Netflix movie, to kind of help promote it, I'm sure he's trying to time it, you know?
Yeah, it could be, or yeah, it could be the when Van Damme has time. So
Well, that
that's.
too, maybe, but
Yeah. And what I know, Last Mercenary and he's supposed to be releasing that one film he's been working on for years too.
yeah, I did a whole video, two videos on that actually. That's how long it's been. I had to make 2 videos about it.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, I always talk about the people, like, especially people I talk to who have podcasts, and I was like, when I get into Hollywood, I'm gonna get them on your podcast, and I'll say in the future now, like, if I got to Van Damme, like, hey, you gotta look at this guy on YouTube. You'll probably love your page.
It's crazy if you think about it, because when we watched that movie, the majority of the footage was shot in 2008, and then they did more in either 2011 or 2012. But he's gonna look so young, even though it's a new Van Damme movie. He's gonna look so young in it. It's gonna be funny.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that turns out. But yeah, it's another one, like always, Van Damme had the interesting movies. But I laughed because somebody brought up when they talked about Sudden Death, because that's another film I love from him, is that. And somebody commented on, oh, all your films, you're always like some excuse to get naked in there. Why were you that naked in Sudden Death? He's like, well, I was focused on trying to rescue my daughter. I have no time to take my clothes off.
Yeah, there's no time for that.
He's like, I mean, yeah, there's the scene where I had to switch to the hockey uniform, but now they're gonna focus on me getting undressed. So
Yeah, he only had a couple of hours in real time to save everybody. So
I don't know why all of a sudden, I need to change my pants all of a sudden. It's like, no, it's gonna be, yeah, that's another one I always like because I always like those kind of Die Hard-esque type films, and especially with Sudden Death, or of course, Seagal with Under Siege.
Yeah, and Sudden Death had such a great villain, Powers Booth.
Oh yeah.
You know what's a shame though is how they just ruined the Van Damme movies with Welcome to Sudden Death with Michael J. White, and then Hard Target 2 with Scott Adkins, which oh my goodness, oh man, I did a whole video on that, so I'm not going to talk about how bad it was, but man, was it bad.
Oh, like I said, I watch your content a lot, so every time I see a new thing, I'll watch it. But yeah, I remember I seen it on Netflix, like, oh, if it's Scott Adkins, of course I'm gonna watch it. And so I said, but no, I watched it, and I'm like, and I was like, yeah, this is like, oh, great, Scott Adkins. And I seen it, and I'm like, wow, this wasn't that good. Yeah, like I seen like Hard Target 2, and I looked up stuff on it, and I was like, okay, and I seen it was intended that Van Damme was supposed to come back, and Adkins was supposed to be the villain.
Now that would have been really interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe Van Damme read the script and was like, "This movie sucks."
Well, I think he said his original idea, but then I don't know if it was. I think they had a different script, but I think he had to work on something else, so he wasn't able to do it. But his script idea was either a son or daughter was a reporter reporting on those human hunting things, and they get killed, so he makes himself a quotation target, so they come after him, so he could get them.
Interesting.
Which I thought that'd be pretty cool, because I could see that, especially if he does the old lines, like it's like hunting season's over. Like, so I always liked that when he did the grenade, and of course Lance Hendrickson just started like, oh, and it sparked. He's like, oh shit. And then I love that story. He said that when the coat went on fire, they couldn't get off right away, so Hendrickson was like, fuck, he just threw it down. And
well, yeah, that part wasn't even acting.
And then Wu was like, are you gonna cut that part out? Wu was like, oh, that was terrific. He was just like, oh, all right, cool, I'll keep it in.
Yeah.
I always like that. But when I seen Hard Target 2, I'm like, Atkins did this? All right, I'll watch it. And I watched it, I'm like, all right, that wasn't that great. And then, Robert Knepper could be a good bad guy, but this is,
He's great in Prison Break, man. So if I look at the cast, we had, him, and then who's that girl? What's her name?
I have to look at the cast again.
Because I've even liked some of the work she did, so I'm like, okay, we got a pretty good cast here. So I was like thinking, this might be pretty good.
They probably had to write it on the fly or something like that. Well, let's think of something real quick. And because I probably went the old script, it's like, well, it's not going to work, especially if they do the film and Scott Adkins suddenly is Chance. People would be like, wait a minute, no, you're not. I mean, I'm sure he would be honored to take it, but then he look at like, well, I can't do Van Damme's role.
Let's see him pull off the mullet.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've always seen him with that short hair for so many years. If he tries to do something like that, I'd be like, what? Or it's either he had that short hair or he had the Boyka hair.
Sure.
Yeah. I still think that if they ever do the character in the movie, he should be Kraven the Hunter in Spider-Man.
I know he's been campaigning to be involved. I mean, who wouldn't want to be involved with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
Especially that whole throwaway character they made him in Doctor Strange. I hated that. Because I right away when they said, I'm going to be involved in Marvel, right? And then that was around the time they were announcing Iron Fist, and I'm like, oh my god, he has to be Iron Fist. It's perfect.
Sure.
I mean, like, just look at him in Expendables, that's him coming back from Kung Lung, and then look at him in his suit, that's him as CEO. It's right there. And he knows the martial arts. He can do an American accent, so it's like...
And he should get a bigger part, man.
Then it's like, oh, he's in Doctor Strange as this henchman. I'm like, really? Come on. I love that video he did where he was trying to audition for Batman, where he spoke in his real voice in the background, and he spoke in his American accent as Batman. So I laughed at that. Like I laughed like he was doing different voices on there to kind of sell. But he did look pretty good. I'm like, okay, that would have been cool if he would have played somebody like Batman or something like that, because he has the skills for it, of course.
Yeah.
And that honestly, like next to Ninja Assassin, he's like done the best ninja movie.
Yeah, that was actually, I like that one. That was pretty. His two, he only did two ninja movies, right? I don't think he ever did
Yeah,
a
he did
third
too.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were actually pretty well done.
Yeah, I'm more a fan of the second one because it's how it's more darker and all that stuff. And of course, you have a Kasugi in there, and that that's ninja royalty in your film.
There you go.
Yeah, see, that's the other one I like because I like those movies that Sho Kazugi did. Like, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, you should watch Black Eagle." I watch it. There's Van Damme as the villain. I'm like, "Oh, of course."
That's why I love Black Eagle.
Yeah, and then of course the great Russian fighter in that No Retreat, No Surrender, especially who does the splits on the ropes. I'm like, "Oh, this guy's like, how do you not look at this guy right away and think, oh, this guy's a badass? I have to use him."
That was like the first Van Damme movie I've ever seen without realizing it was Van Damme. I was like, I wasn't even 10 at the time, and I was actually rooting for Kurt McKinney, because he did the backflip and he's the good guy. So, I mean, now whenever I watch No Retreat, No Surrender, I'm like, I'm rooting for Van Damme's character, the bad guy. But,
Oh yeah, I especially jumped off the one guy and kicked the other. I was like, "Holy, what the hell? Like,
oh,
how did they not look
that
at
was
this guy right
amazing.
away and think I have to use him?" I mean, well, luckily Canon thought that. I mentioned it on the episode about Spider-Man. They're the only one who looked at Marvel and thought, "Hey, these could be good movies." So I mean, yeah, they were out of control, but at least they had good ideas back then. Like they could have did
Sure.
something good. But they were focused on let's do Superman 4 first, or let's do Masters of the Universe. Like Masters of the Universe is still great because it's all
Or
fun.
more like, let's lose all our money.
Oh, and they did too.
Over at the
And
studio.
then they say, "Oh, we have junk bonds. We're fine. Stock market crash. So let's pay with bounce checks." So when they try to do those two movies, they were like, finally, they're like, you're not doing this film. You pay me with this. But yeah, it's still great. I was always curious on where did your name Viking Samurai come from?
It took me a while to think about it, but I do kind of have roots because I'm mixed. So I do have some Northern European and some Japanese, though I am more Korean, but there's no cool samurai type figure in Korea. So I'm like, I'll just take this. But it's just kind of invokes that warrior spirit. It's a nice balance with the barbaric Viking and then the more honorable samurai. So, and I thought it mixed. But again, I feel like anybody could be a Viking samurai, even though I technically do have, roots in each of those cultures. Like Viking samurai, anybody who wants to be like a warrior and kind of like a yin yang type figure, go ahead and take Viking samurai if you want. It's an awesome moniker,
That's when I was looking up something and I seen the name and I'm like, Viking Samurai? That's not okay. Because I was searching up a game and I put in Viking versus Samurai and then your page come up. I'm like, what's this? And then I'm looking at this and I see, look at these top stars that weren't Seagal Stallone. I'm like, oh my God, I love all these guys. And then it's like all this stuff about Van Damme and I see all these stuff about Stallone. Great. I'm like, Stallone, all right, that's cool. And then a neutral take on Seagal. I'm like, yes, I'm looking. This is the guy.
Sure.
Because I did talk about on my martial arts episode. It'll be when I put it on YouTube. I'll share stuff to you.
Okay.
And I talk about all the good stuff Seagal did. And right away I go and said, listen, I know people have issues. I'm talking about his career. I'm not talking about his life. So I'm not saying.
Yeah, the funny
what an
thing
honorable
with
man.
Seagal, I kind of felt like somebody needs to be a counterbalance because, again, like you said, look, we're not talking about the dude's entire life. And let's face the fact, you pull a curtain back on any of our lives, I'm sure there are things that we don't want people to know, but because he's a celebrity, and again, because he's a celebrity, we don't even know if this stuff's true. Like a lot of this, these rumors just get out, like the Gene LaBelle story. People just love that story because they don't like Seagal and it makes them humiliated. So they're going to just keep spreading it, which, so I don't know if all this negativity related to Seagal is even true or not. I mean, maybe some of it is, maybe some of it just got, I don't know, it just grew as people were telling the stories because they want him to look bad. So they want to believe that. And then they just keep spreading it. But again, at the end of the day, I'm not focused on that. He's going to do what he does in his personal life. I'm going to focus on what has he given us from an entertainment perspective. And also, as a martial artist myself, I do respect what he's done. He lived in Japan. He learned the culture. He speaks it fluently. He loves Aikido. He didn't start with Aikido, but everyone's like, well, Aikido doesn't work, so he can't fight. He's not limited to Aikido. If you look at his movies, he actually strikes quite a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, overall, I just, kind of a counterbalance to all the Seagal hate out there. It's let me put something positive out there and bring up some of his good points, That's
what I always hear from that. It's all, oh yeah, he feels this way or he's this. And I hear that whole Aikido thing. It's look at this video. He's easy throwing those guys around. Those are his students. He even talked about it in the Atkins interview. He said that the whole stuntman thing, he had to use a lot of his students for fight scenes because they're the only ones that could take his hits and stuff.
Sure.
Of course, if you're going in there new, oh yeah, I could get thrown around not knowing this martial art, what he's doing. Yeah, then I seen other stuff he did. He said he tried to choreograph that one unofficial Bond movie and ended up breaking Sean Connery's wrist. It's like, yeah, because these guys don't know how to handle his stuff. That's what it is.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
why he said, like, those fight scenes, especially above the law, he had to pull his students in there, especially that marketplace. Those were all, well, not the guy he shoots, the other guys were all people he trained, so they could take his hits. Because, I mean, I don't know how that one Asian guy got up after that clothesline, because I heard that way he grunted when he got hit. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean that's with the keto, I mean the skill is really the guy getting thrown around. Like you really gotta know how to manipulate and fall right.
Yeah, I know, because when I started Taekwondo, they taught Aikido at the same school, so I was like, oh, I want to try to learn both. And right away he said, wait till you get to either brown or black before you try Aikido. Then I realized, oh, I have to learn to roll and fall in that. And then right now I'm at the belt where I have to take falls and throws and stuff. So, and rolling I'm getting better with, so I could do the certain moves, and the guy could test them on me. But now I see it, like, okay,
Sure.
yeah, try to fall down like 30 times within an hour and have to get up. That's not like, oh, this is nothing. That's like, ugh. And I've seen guys there who are in great shape doing this, and I can see them after that fifth time getting thrown down. I can see they're like kind of gingerly getting back up.
I mean, even Stuntman Stephen Lambert talks about that. Well, I got to release more of that interview, but when I'm talking more about him and the stunts he's done, he's done some crazy stuff. But he talks about, yeah, you could do it a few times, but after a few takes, even as a young guy, you're just like, yeah, this is kind of taking a beating on you, man.
Yeah. I had a video with my friend. We're at one of these. There's a place that teaches mainly sword fighting, but they allow you to film some fight stuff there. And just, hey, let's film some stuff. So I was, practicing what I've been knowing, Taekwondo. And then he upped the camera speed, and I did the same movement. And then he said, watch your back. And all of a sudden, I was super fast. I was like, oh my God. I was all excited. Like, look at me. And then somebody joked because I'm a little hefty. They said, oh, you're looking at your Sammo Hung. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Sammo Hung looked pretty cool. So
yeah, he's pretty badass. He doesn't look the part, but boy, can that dude move.
Yeah, because I know Richard Norton said in another Atkins interview, he said like built like elephant but moves like monkey or something like that.
Oh,
So
that
like,
makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
But no, like I said, I always look for great YouTube content, and I love your page, and I love every content you put out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks, man. I put a lot of
I-
time in that, and I know, I mean, the stuff that I cover, Stallone, Van Damme, I'm going to be covering more like Bruce Lee and Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. But yeah, I mean, hopefully the page keeps growing and the word gets out, with this interview. And because there are millions of fans, I got like such a small fraction. I try to show my appreciation of these guys and take people back to the 80s and 90s when, in my opinion, the action movies were by far the best. The martial arts were the best, at least in movies. So, anybody who enjoys that stuff will like the channel. So, make sure to check it out. Because again, I got such a tiny sliver of a fraction of, I know the fans that are actually out there for this kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, you could tell by the good, bad, ugly comment page that you're getting fans. So
Yeah, they always have fun with that.
oh yeah, and I do the same thing. I answer comments, and I get the few ridiculous ones or the bad ones, but the good ones are always great.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah,
definitely.
you have to respond to the bad ones and say,
Oh, you got to. You got to have fun with them, though. You got to have thick skin and have fun with them because at the end of the day,
yeah.
I mean, the way I look at it, especially when there's like personal attacks, I'm like, you know what? If people are putting out personal attacks against somebody like Stallone or Van Damme, of course they're going to talk crap about me, Like, why wouldn't they? They're putting out personal attacks against these freaking legends.
oh yeah, because I had somebody tell me in one comment page, oh yeah, get your lips off Bruce Lee's ass for a second. I was like, fuck you. Like, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Or the one person he said something about just wrote canceled. I'm like, oh, you're canceled? Okay. It's like, I'm not gonna take my time with you.
I mean, mine, of course, I always get you're Steven Seagal's boyfriend, or stuff like that. I'm like, why? Because I'm one of the few guys who isn't trashing him. If that makes me his boyfriend, like, whatever. Like, I just don't feel the need to have to, be like the majority of YouTube guys trashing him. Like I mentioned earlier, let's use my channel as a counterbalance.
Yeah, the funniest is still when you commented on those guys that were making fun of Seagal looking fat. Sorry, we're not Adonises like you three. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because I looked at the video, I'm like, wait, what? Who are you talking about? That's like if I'm calling somebody a fat ass, it's like somebody look at me like, excuse me. No, but I love content like that. I did real quickly. I did I'll throw in a Red Foreman dumbass noise drop in there if it sounds stupid. Because somebody one time said, "Oh, stop focusing on this worker. Focus on the Jewish-made lasers that start forest fires." I went, "Okay, you deserve this." I hit dumbass, like, because it's just like I heard that, I went, "Oh my god." I was like, you know what? You deserve this.
Sure.
Or one that sounds so stupid, like, you know what? I'm not gonna talk about your comment. This is so stupid. I'm gonna get stupid talking about it. But yeah, I love that. When good, bad, the ugly, you just had that kind of response, like, "Oh, really?" You know, there's or the one guy that got the obsession with like ass eating on that one comment. You're like, okay, what's your obsession here, dude?
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it that way, but yeah, it was weird. It is very weird seeing Seagal with that goatee. I've used him clean shaven for years, but the whole thing with the donkey, I'm like, okay, dude. And then he's
Just
like,
the
oh
thing
yeah.
that people think of, it's like, well, I mean, I guess they put thought into it. But like, I don't know why you're thinking about that and wanting to visualize that. Now you're having me like, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to visualize that. But
This was great, and then I'm definitely, when the YouTube page is debuted, this is going to be like the first episode out, so I'll let you know it's out there.
cool. Let me know, man. Had fun talking to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was great talking to you, and I was, wish we could have more time to talk if we didn't have that, Zoom fiasco. So.
Sure, we could always, talk more in the future if it's just because we're obviously into a lot of the same stuff. So yeah, anytime you want to have me on, and then I don't know if I mean, maybe I'll have guests on my show too. So yeah, we could help out each other's channel essentially.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then I'll definitely put this YouTube. I'll still use SoundCloud in case people don't like using YouTube because of the ads and stuff. Which I'll tell them just update your YouTube to premium, so you don't have to worry about the ads.
Sure. But let me know when you post this, wherever you post it, whether it's YouTube, podcast, etc. I'll share it on my community page and let my channel's audience know.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll go through this to edit out like all that, the whole silence from the Zoom part.
Sounds good, man.
That pretty fun interview. Yeah, we keep bringing up a Zoom fiasco. Well, for some reason Zoom doesn't work with my computer that well. And this time when I was working with him on Zoom, my God, was it just horrible. Like the screen kept like freezing, and we would like be talking in clips and everything. And finally we said screw it, went with Skype. I mean, he had to make up a Skype account real quick to do it. But overall, we got a great interview. It probably would have been like a lot longer and stuff. But like I said, we ran out of time because of the Zoom fiasco. But this was a very fun interview with Larson. And like I said before, you find Viking Samurai stuff on Viking Samurai YouTube, and he's on Instagram as well. Like Larson is on Instagram and on Twitter as well. But I'm gonna say I'm very happy to put this episode for YouTube. It'll still be on SoundCloud, so if you prefer SoundCloud over YouTube, that's fine. But I'll see if I can branch out to a broader audience with the show. That's what the attempt is here. So they might cut some stuff out, like the rant earlier. A lot of my episodes have a lot of rants, so they might cut it out, which explains why SoundCloud is available. Or they might not. You might hear it in all its glory. But I hope you really enjoyed these interviews. I really don't have a lot of good closing stuff to talk about today, but I will say good news. I had my first shot of the COVID vaccine, Moderna. It did kick my ass for a couple days. Second shot likely gonna do the same. But I have people out there who are fully vaccinated. My dad is fully vaccinated. My mom's gonna be soon. Amber is fully vaccinated, and I'll be fully vaccinated in start of May. And I'm also trying to help a lot of my friends in Indiana get fully vaccinated, and some friends in Illinois. Like I sent a link to Josh, but I also sent the 211 number to people who live in Indiana so they can find their local vaccine and get it. Because we gotta have some fun. We gotta have some normalcy. I mean, if we have to wear some mask, fine, but we want to be around people. So please take the vaccine. Stop this stupid bullshit like you were doing with the fucking mask. And let everything get back to normal. And you know what? And for these businesses, thank you for not having your head up your ass like these politicians. Listen to people who fucking know this shit or have a degree in this stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm not gonna give a usual thank you and F you to the negative people. I'm gonna let Larson send us off with a soundbite.
I'm Larson Halleck. Fuck this shit.
I'll see you next time on SoundCloud and on YouTube. Have a good night.